focus, it's on a geographic area. But what you're doing is using the justice system to focus on crimes in this area. As it is now, if somebody is arrested in your neighborhood, they may or may not get a citation that calls upon them to go down to 850. And when they do get there, they see a judge. The judge might have a docket that's so busy on that day that they look at this crime and they say prostitution, or they say, whatever the crime is, they'll say, it's just too low for me to deal with. You can go ahead and go on home. Okay? And so that's why you see that person out there the next day, nothing changes. That frustrates all of us, right? It frustrates the judges because they're not seeing new outcomes, right? It frustrates the police officers because they keep arresting the same person. They're right back out here on hide. And it frustrates the community because you guys keep seeing the same person. So what this does is say justice needs to be part of this system, but really fully engaged and addressing local problems that present in a particular community. And so that's why they would set up a court, deal with all the crime in that area, and it'd be one judge. So it'd be the same judge. So when Ginny shows up for prostitution this week, I say, Ginny, this is against law, you can't do that, why don't you go to Sage? Ginny shows up next week, I say, Ginny, we had this conversation. Actually, Ginny, I want you to go meet with the community court, which is membership from the community, and I want you to tell them, Ginny, why you didn't go to that SAGE program, why you're not trying to reform your life, because I think you need to meet the people that have to put up with the effects of your behavior here on the streets. So that's kind of how it works. Right now today there are 30 of these types of courts in the country. The two that we looked at were in Manhattan, in New York, one in Midtown Manhattan that covered all of Times Square. In 1990, Times Square was, it was a disaster for anybody who was there in the 80s and the early 90s. Lots of crime, lots of prostitution, lots of street vending. They put a court there, and crime has gone down 68%. Significant impact. The other court we looked at was in Brooklyn, 70% public housing, lots of murders, 14 to 15 murders a year. They put a court in. They haven't had a murder in the last 2 years. So, these show, and what it does is it shows the impact on a community. Internationally, South Africa, England, this model from Manhattan is being copied everywhere. Let's see here. So, what is the difference? When somebody comes into the traditional court down at 850 Bryant, the judge either can wipe out their case and say, okay, you can just go home, don't do it again. Or they can put them in jail. For a lot of these offenses, neither one is a good option. It's an underlying social issue that is presenting itself, which is why this person is committing these crimes. And so what this court does is provide to the judge different social service options so that they can say to Ginny, no, Ginny, you have to go into a SAGE, you guys know what that is? It's the group that works with prostitutes here in the city. And you need to get into a job training program, and frankly I want you to have a case manager, and I want you to meet with the Department of Public Health or whatever. And these services are co-located at the courthouse.